which built churches and built cathedrals and monasteries and nuns all over India, all over Pakistan. That is hypocritical.
Is it, Davnet, is it hypocritical that we didn't give out about the Irish who emigrated all over the world and brought Christianity with them as well, many of them?
Oh, I think majority of Irish people, of course, they emigrated to colonies. That's where they immigrated to, and we're not in an 18th century anymore. People are not looking for colonists. So this whole idea that we need immigration into Ireland, I think that's ridiculous.
The Muslims who came here, who are here right now, you right now could have a heart attack, God forbid, or become very ill. You'll end up in the hospital, and maybe a Muslim doctor is going to save your life. A Muslim doctor who may have the qualifications to save your life. This is the thing you're also forgetting about.
Yes, and I'm sure there's many Irish doctors with the same qualifications.
But the point is, Davlet, you wouldn't object to a Muslim doctor operating on you, would you?
Of course not, because I don't care if they're Muslim.
I mean, Davlet was quite clear, Ibrahim, that she doesn't have an objection or a hatred for Muslims. She just wants to keep her Irishness, and she just wants to keep Ireland for the Irish.
But Niall, look, with respect...
What is the harm in that? Would you go back to your country and say the same thing, you know?
Let me ask you, because I hear this a lot. What is Irish identity?
Well, I've tried to get that out of people already. Maybe I'll give Kevin a go with that question, actually, and I want to come to Ali in a second. Kevin, what does it mean to be Irish?
To me, it means a belief in the language, culture and traditions of this country.
But I've already explained to Davnet that only 12,000 people in the country speak the language on a daily basis. So where does that leave us?
Culture,
we don't watch Irish television. Well, hang on, with the greatest respect, culturally, we don't watch Irish television. Everybody claims they hate RTE. Well, who watches Tina G?
I do. I think it's an excellent station.
Well, you're one of very few. Let's be clear about this. You're one of very few people. The majority of people don't watch Irish television. They watch British television. So culturally, we're closer, as I said to Davnet already, to Britain or America.
The majority of people don't watch television at all.
Listen, I'm for the Irish language. I think the Irish language should be kept. I believe it should be brought back in. My own children who are mixed are well versed in Gaeilge. I'm pushing them on this to be proud of their Irish heritage as well. But I want to come back on another point. The point is, when we hear this thing about being Irish, if you go back 1,000 years or more, or if you go back to 3rd century before St. Patrick came, we were basically a nation of Celts, a nation of Vikings, a nation of all different cultures at that time.
DNA says otherwise.
Okay, well, do me a favour. If you can all hold on, and Ali, I am going to come to you straight after the break because I know you've been waiting so long. Davnet, I would love you to stay with us for another 10 minutes after the break if you possibly can. You can text us at 53544. That's 53544. Or if you want to WhatsApp us, you can 0871 880008. Talk to Davnet, who's a representative from Generation Identity Ireland. They were the pictures, you might have seen them on Facebook over the Christmas period. Posters that at the start of Grafton Street that read, "This barrier is to prevent Islamic lorry attacks. Thank you for tolerating the Islamization of Europe."
Have you got an opinion? What's on your mind? Call 1850-410-494. Niall Boylan. Real Talk Radio. Classic Hits 4FM. Warning. Niall Boylan at night is controversial and confrontational and may cause offense to some. Listener discretion is advised. 4FM.
All right, keep texting 53544. On a slightly lighter note, by the way, thank you very much to James, who just dropped in because we discussed it last night. A packet of Marietta. I haven't seen them in years. We'll have them a little bit later on. Thanks, James. Keep texting 53544. Somebody says, Niall, it's an awful pity the other 1.5 billion Muslims don't think like Paddy the Muslim that you have on the air there. Well, you're making an assumption that the other 1.5 billion don't. I would suggest that many of them do think like Paddy the Muslim, as you called him. Ibrahim is actually his name. He just happens to be Irish. You get Ibrahim on and you still do the talking for him, Niall. Come on, Boilers. Your game is up for 2018 and stop the rot. The same old. That's creeping in, says Kevin in Limerick. Keep texting 53544. Let me go to Ali. Ali, sorry for keeping you so long. Go ahead.
Thank you.
And I do apologise that Davnet had to go.
Give me a time because there are so many red herrings which I need to tackle over here, and it's too many of red herrings. I guess I need a little bit of time. First of all, I like to make one surprising and shocking, admittance, and it is that Islam promotes actually extremism, but in a sense that you have to be extreme towards kindness, towards mercifulness, and then you have to be extreme towards justice as well, and you can do justice even if it goes against yourself. These are the teaching of Islam. It promotes extremism, but on the side where you can become more, extremely loving, extremely kind, and you take your responsibility seriously. And the other thing about apostasy, well, in Quran there is no verse which says that you should take the life of the person who leaves Islam. In fact, in Quran there is a verse in the second chapter which says La ikrah fid deen, there is no compulsion in religion. So if anyone who is not happy with the religion, he can leave that religion anytime he wants. And it's not good that you just become a namesake Muslim and rather your rest of the things you are doing wrong. So,
okay, I mean, these groups groups like, for example, Generation Identity Era, there's been many other groups as well who are considered to be alt-right groups. What do you think of these groups? Should they be free to speak? Should they be free to advertise, to recruit, if that's what they're doing? Or do you believe they incite any kind of hatred?
See, this is kind of perception management. This is what they are taking advantage of. It's not just only a danger Muslim driver on O'Connell Bridge or somewhere where you have that, traffic running over. There are other drivers, and there are chances. If you have to have those bars and grills just to protect yourself, it's good, but not only from, Islamic terrorism or this extremism what they portray over here.
With the greatest respect, we have, up to recently, this is quite a new phenomenon, isn't it? This idea of, somebody in the name of their religion jumping into a truck and mowing down 30 or 40 people. This is a very new phenomenon, and the reason it's happening was because they can do it without a weapon.
Yeah, but see, this thing is happening all over the world on every road. Like, people are killing each another because they die in accidents. And
No. You can't compare a car crash or an accident, with the greatest respect now, Ali, to somebody deliberately getting into a van or a car and killing people. It's a different situation altogether.
It is a danger. You can protect yourself from that, but it's more protection from the other side as well, because we have other accidents. The number of the accidents that we have on the road, they are much higher.
Do you think, Ali, that you have a right? Where are you originally from, Ali?
Pakistan.
Okay. Do you believe that you have a right to be in this country just as much as an Irish person born here?
Yeah, I think we all have, freedom of movement. We can go anywhere and we can live.
Well, you don't. Legally, you don't have freedom of movement unless you're from Europe.
We made these nation states in 1920. Before that, it was not the case. You can go anywhere you want and you can live. Yeah, people accept you or they don't. This is a different story altogether. But you see, the problem of...
if you're saying you have a right to be here as much as an Irish person born in this country, well, then you're essentially saying to me, well, what's the point in having a border?
Yeah, I don't believe in borders. This is man-made creation. Like, you don't
believe in borders? So you believe people should be able to move from whatever country they want to go to?
Yeah, that's right.
And how do you think an economy could handle that? Do you think the Irish economy could absolutely be able to handle if we lifted the borders and allowed anybody who wants to come in from India, Pakistan,
you have to
Africa?
See the whole picture holistically.
That's a ridiculous suggestion.
This is an ideal situation which I'm talking about. But if you have the wealth circulating among rest of the countries in the same fashion as they are circulating here in the West, then you won't have this problem. Most of the people come here because of economical condition in their country. So if they have the better condition, they're not bothered to come to Ireland, and live in this rain all the time and cold. They have
Okay, well, Ibrahim, I assume you agree with most of what Ali said, apart from the open borders.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I have lived in Pakistan and. My wife is Pakistani, and so I mean, Ali knows very well. I'm sorry, and I'm being careful what I say to Ali now because I don't offend him in any shape or form. He seems a very intelligent, and he's able to articulate and elaborate, which is good. And whatever he said about Islam is correct. But his own country at this moment in time is up in a heaval of, internal fighting. Because of extremists. I mean, the country has become, a hub for extremists.
See, I'm from Pakistan.
Let me answer.
I understood the point you are making.
The point I only want to making is that your vision of movement is an excellent vision. But even in Pakistan, I can't go, my wife can't go, because we belong to Ahmadiyya Muslim communities. We would be killed. This
is like a black racism card now that you are playing. If you go to Pakistan, you find this extremism on other sides as well. Political extremism. Don't you see in Karachi what MK was doing? You can't see.
But it's linked to people like Taha Qadri, like other big sheikhs like him.
Tahir al-Qadri, I don't, take him as a serious scholar of Islam, though somehow he got the position. But we don't need to deal just only Pakistan. I'm talking about the world economic situation. We can make it better. And as far as the extremism is concerned, we are fighting for different political reasons as well.
Okay, but can I say, Ibrahim, Ali sounds like a peaceful enough type of chap, right? And he seems to take the same interpretation of the Quran as you do. But when he says something like, I believe, as a Pakistani citizen, that I have the right to be in Ireland as much as a person born in this country, you can see how that might incense somebody who's Irish and believe that, hold on a second, this is my country.
No, I give Irish the same, opportunity to come and live in Pakistan because I don't believe in this. The place I was born, I just carry some identity because it was made in 1920. Before that, there was no such thing as passport or something. So I can belong to anyone. The weather of Ireland, though it's horrible for Irish people, but it suits me well. That's why I don't want to go back. I like this weather.
Well, to be honest with you, before 1920, people didn't have the ability probably to travel from countries like Pakistan to Ireland anyway.
Well, that's exactly what's going on. People, they find it hard.
Air travel. Air travel has made a huge difference to the movement of people.
Population replacement is just because of that. Now we are technologically more advanced.
I don't mean to sorry, Ali, I think there was even 18th, 17th, 16th century and beyond, there was some kind of control in every country that came in.
Well, whether it was control or not, we wouldn't have had the problem, Ibrahim, because we wouldn't have had a free movement of people in those days because we didn't have the technology, we didn't have air travel, and of course getting on a boat would have been quite expensive to go that far. So it wouldn't have been the issue that it is today. Stay there, both of you, a second. Hassan, I'll come to you in a minute. I want to go to Cece first if I can. But okay, but in relation to what Davnet was saying earlier on in this, her group Generation Identity Era, that she wants to keep Ireland for the Irish, would you agree with that, Cece?
Well, there is aspects in what I agree with her, what she's saying that I do agree with. About joining her organisation, I'm not sure. But when in September the 11th, when I was in the United States, there was an awful lot of people. Some of them actually were there was a Scottish woman and different people were kind of saying that were the white people, losing their identity in the United States. That did come up, and they were.
See, now we're into skin colour, and this is something I said to Davins earlier on. Would you welcome a black person joining your group? And she said, well, no, because she's looking for indigenous Western people, and she believed they wouldn't be black. So now we're getting into skin colour. But I think we've moved on from that in life. Do we not accept that there are people who would consider themselves to be indigenous to Ireland, Britain, France, Spain, who are black?
Yeah. Absolutely, I do agree with that, and I know a little one down here.
Phil Innes was black.
Gaelic.
Phil Innes was black. He was
Nigeria.
Phil Innes was black. He was the first famous Irish black person. He was indigenously Irish, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And yet we have people would say that, oh no, they're not, because you can't be. You couldn't possibly be. Do you accept what's happening in our country at the moment when you see a large proportion of people coming from other countries around the world, many of them from Europe, from free movement of people, many are not from Europe, they're non-EU citizens. Do you accept that free movement of people?
I accept the free movement of people, but I do not accept what the gentleman from Pakistan who said he didn't believe in borders. That's a lot of baloney, absolute baloney.
Well, stay there because Hassan wants to talk to both Ibrahim and Ali. Hassan, you're on Classic Hits. How you doing, Hassan?
Hello, Niall.
Nice to talk to you again. Happy New Year to you, by the way. To all of you, actually, by the way. Yeah, sorry.
Happy New Year to you and to your audience. There are so many things mentioned here. I don't know where to begin.
Okay, well, begin by asking me, do you agree with Davnis, who was on earlier on?
Well, I didn't get the chance to listen to your show before this.
Okay, all right, okay.
I missed the major portion of it.
Okay.
But let me begin with that phrase that we want to get the country back, basically. That was the main point, right? Identity conflict or whatever it was. I don't know what it means to get your country back. Tens of millions of Irish people are living abroad. We are living in 2018 now, so immigration is impossible to stop. We are mixed nations now already. those who say we are Irish, I have one question for them. Well, I have many questions for them, but I will raise one here. How do you define your Irishness?
I've tried to get the answer to that question 4 times tonight, and I haven't got it once.
Oh, okay. So
because I don't believe. I mean, they talk about our being part of the Irish culture, the Irish language. Firstly, I very rarely hear people speak the Irish language. Irish culture. We don't even watch Irish television. We seem to hate it. Actually, we give out about it all the time. All we watch is American and British television. So we don't immerse ourselves in Irish culture really at all, unless we go to the pub and get drunk.
Well, there is no definition for that. So if, let's say, Irishness comes by birth. If you are born here, then you are Irish. But that doesn't work because there are many, quote-unquote, non-Irish have been born in this country now. They should be considered Irish. Or those who are Irish but are born in other countries, in Afghanistan, in Saudi Arabia, or in other places. So are they willing to give away their Irishness and accept the Afghan nationality or Saudi Arabian nationality or what? What does this mean as a whole? I don't understand. But with regards to the open borders that Ali, I think, from Pakistan is talking about, let's imagine there is no, as John Lennon's song, imagine there is no border. What will happen? We will have millions and millions and millions of Muslims running away from their home countries towards EU and other Western countries. We will have no EU citizen running towards Saudi Arabia to live there, or to Pakistan.
So we will have an overpopulated Europe, Ali.
Now, see, he took that thing completely wrong, I guess, Mr. Hassan.
No, he didn't. He didn't take it wrong.
No, let me explain it to you. I told you that this is an idealistic situation. And once we have, the circulation and the accumulation of wealth, not just, getting on one side, but it, contribute other, parts as well. Then you have the situation where you don't need to leave your countries. And if your Syria and your Iraq is not, bombarded by American troops, you won't be leaving your country. So many Syrian refugees that you see right now, they were happy living over there, but now they don't have normal life.
Also,
well, hang on, Ibrahim. Sorry, you want to say something there? Go ahead.
To Hassan, that he mentioned,
Ibrahim, how are you?
Yeah, how you doing? He mentioned only Muslims. If that was, I agree with him in theory.
Because Ali was coming from a Muslim background. That's why I mentioned Muslims.
That's fine. No, that's fine. I take your point. But equally, if there was no borders, you would have tens of thousands and maybe millions of, Hindus and others who are heavily persecuted in their own country, treated very badly in their own country. They would be also heading towards Europe.
You can see.
You'll have Koreans and Chinese and all sorts of people heading towards Europe.
Okay,
I can only hear one person at a time. Sorry, Ali, I'll let you back in a second. Hassan.
Ibrahim, before you go to your next point, let me answer this one. We do have Hindu population in Europe, Chinese population, Korean population, but we don't have this kind of problem we have with the Islamic population. We have to accept that. When was the last time anybody complained about Chinese communities in Europe?
Hold on a second, Mr. Hassan. I don't think that you know the statistic. First of all, find out how many Muslims live in this world. There are nearly 2 billion Muslims. So, of course, you will see the more Muslim coming in because we are more in population. So, leave this thing aside. And as far as, the influx of immigrants is concerned, the problem is if we use our resources correctly, of course, within their own countries and over here in Ireland, we can accommodate more people. In Ireland, there is no such thing, and the identity of Irish people is taken by somebody else.
We can accommodate more people in Ireland.
Yeah, I guess.
Are you having a laugh?
Oh no!
At this very moment in time, no, we can't. We need to lose a few.
The population. This population replacement. This whole thing. Let me deal this thing academically for you.
We don't have the finances, the housing, the infrastructure to deal with the 4.7 million we have already.
Exactly. You never had all these things when the Vikings came over here, when the Danes came over here, when the Nordic came over here. The population is keep on changing. Your culture is keep on changing, and it will change. Of course, eventually it will reach to some stage where we all homogenize in our culture and everything. Can you understand? The Western different culture. It's not the same.
Ali, your ideals are way above everybody else's. Sorry.
Niall, can I say something? The problem is not immigration. The problem is certain ideologies that are coming to the West. Certain communities. Listen, Ali. Listen. Ali, please. I grew up in Islam, and it cost me a country. Okay, if you're following the reports today in Iran, where I was born, there are protests. Okay, thousands of people are protesting against their own Islamic government. Okay. So I know what is happening in the Muslim world. You don't have to explain to me.
You just came from Iran, and you can't paint everything with the same brush. Maybe it's the condition in Iran, because we saw at the time of Iranian revolution, we saw all these things what happened over there and how controlled your society is. You don't even get the chance to watch other television channels, what you have on your TV. Just only national channels you can see, and they are. I can agree with that, but it's not the case everywhere in the Muslim world, man.
Okay, well, hang on, all of you just a second, because I want to bring Tom in as well. Tom, you're on Classic Hits. Go ahead, Tom.
Good evening, Niall. Good evening, gentlemen.
Tom, go ahead. What do you want to say?
We've seen since 2016, since Merkel opened up the borders with Syria, we've seen a few things happening. Number one, Greece has become a dumping ground. Greece and southern Italy are bearing the brunt of the refugee crisis. Now, there was a report in the Daily Mail today, and it was one from the government. I had a look on the internet to see if I could pull it. And what they've said is, in Germany, violent crime in certain areas where some male refugees have been, we'll say, housed in Germany, violent crime has gone up by 25%. Also, for New Year's celebrations, we had these barriers to stop, I don't know, trucks or whatever, to prevent attacks or whatever, okay? We had these in a number of cities around Europe. We also had as well safe zones for women in Germany.
Again, see, how come you have these biased reviews? And if you come to me and tell me that 25%. No,
listen,
see,
excuse me.
No. Ali, let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish.
I haven't mentioned anything about religion or anything.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, let me finish.
It's due to
me the courtesy of letting me finish and don't talk.
Ali, I will let you respond to him. Let him finish. Go ahead.
We have seen a failed immigration or refugee policy in Europe, in mainland Europe. We've seen it here in this country. We've seen so many cases. Now, you had a guy that worked on the immigration side. And what was it? He's retired now. He said,
out of 500 cases, he only approved 2. He said the rest were lying.
Yeah. Well, we have no backup from there then, that if their asylum application is rejected or anything like that, we have no backup to get them out of the country. Okay, so what we're doing is, I'm not going to go on, lads, about population replacement or anything like that, because I don't believe any of that shite, okay? But what I will say is, we've got to have tighter border controls.
Yeah, of course, you should. But you can't say that 80,000, somebody quoted that 80,000 Muslims are living in Ireland, but they are not all refugees and they are not illegal immigrants. They got the visa after,
You see, this is where you're getting it wrong. I haven't mentioned any specific group. Okay? What we have in this country, let me finish. What we have in this country is we people in the Muslim community, okay? And that's fine. Live and let live, I say. I'm Catholic myself. I have no problem with whatever you believe or whatever you don't believe. That's up to you. Yeah. It's a personal choice. But what we have is, I'm Irish first, I'm Catholic second. But what we have here in Europe as well is, they're part of the Muslim community. No. That should be sacrosanct. Okay? And that's fine. Your beliefs are fine. But if you come to a country, you're part of a community, not a religious grouping. That's where we've got to break the cycle. There is very little integration between the Muslim community and we'll say communities that they go into. There's very little integration. I've seen that myself.
See, the integration is not because of just only Muslims. They don't want to, because you have some certain way, and you have some certain traditions which most Muslims are not familiar with, like drinking and going into pubs. You have this socializing.
You're being stereotypical now. You're being stereotypical. Not every Irish person is in the pub fucking 7 nights a week.
No.
With the greatest respect, Ali, I don't go to a pub.
stereotypical.
No, it
So if
doesn't
you're
mean
on
that we are
about
not
me,
talking
you're
with
just
each
as
another.
bad.
It doesn't mean that we are not talking with each another. We are talking.
And also, with the greatest respect, Ali, I know many Muslims that go to pubs on a regular basis.
Oh, well, there are. Maybe they can go and talk to them, and maybe they are integrating well according to your understanding. But see, the whole ideology, the way of life, like, you know.
Okay, but you're not addressing what Tom actually spoke about. Tom talked about the increase in crime in certain countries that had a huge influx of refugees, most of whom were Muslim.
Figures that I'm pulling out of the sky, like these are known facts, like. Go on any of the German websites and they will tell you that they had, and this was official government policy, they had safe zones for women. I'm sorry. Doesn't matter what religion, what race or creed that you are.
As far as integration is concerned, I'm living in this country for 12 years.
And
no
I'm
matter
delighted for you.
I have to integrate. I have to integrate. I have no other option. But I have to go to the bank, talk to Irish person. I have to go to my PPS, office. I have to talk to Irish person. So I work with Irish people, so I have to, I have no other option. But other than that, I don't understand what kind of integration are you expecting from them. Do you want to culturalize them, like, into your culture? It's not right. It is. You can't just simply make them somehow Irish-looking person.
In the initial start, I said you can believe whatever you want to believe. You can practice.
Okay, but Tom, when you say they should integrate, what do you mean by integrate? I mean, what do you want Ali, for example, or other Muslims in Ireland to do to make things better?
Look like Michael Jackson or something. Plastic surgery.
No, he shouldn't be flippant, okay? I'm going to respond to this now, and I'm going to respond actually quite calmly and logically, okay?
Yeah, good.
Most people in this country know very little about the Islamic community, or Islamic faith.
Yeah, that's our fault.
Now, let me finish, please.
Yeah.
Most Muslims know very little about Christian faith.
They don't really. Yeah, true.
Okay?
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I understand.
Two of the biggest things cause conflict in this world, politics and religion.
Well, unfortunately, most Irish people, the only thing they know about Islam is what they see on Sky Television, which is somebody jumping into a truck and killing a load of people, and that's the only thing they really know about it.
Yeah.
It's not only religion or politics, it's about understanding. If we don't have right understanding, we can fight over any issue.
But
it can be religion, it can be politics, it can be even,
Can I ask you a question, by the way, Ali? Ali, who comes first, God or your family?
Where did I get my family from? From God, of course. God comes first, because I won't be here making this talk right now if there was no God. So my existence.
Well, that's your opinion, yeah.
Yeah, well, I can hold my opinion. Yeah, so for me, of course, God comes first, but God tells me that I can't do anything because I love my parents.
Okay,
I have to be respectful.
Do you respect God's law or state's law?
God's law.
So God's law comes first before state law?
Yeah, for me, yeah. And so far in Ireland, there is no your constitutional law which goes against the law of God. And the moment when they start doing this, I will leave this country.
No, we've got to have, and it even comes down to my own faith as well, we've got to have a complete separation between church, any sort of religious format, and state.
But Ali has just told you that he believes that God's law comes first, not state law.
I'm sorry, I have to disagree with him there. The laws that are set in this country and in any other country don't just apply to one, they apply to everyone that's within the country. If I go to a foreign country, I have to live by the laws.
But the point is, Ali, how can multiculturalism actually work when you tell me that God's law comes before the state law, when everybody's God, be you Muslim, Christian, Jewish, everybody's God has different rules?
See, there is something called rule of law and rule of justice. This thing which goes against the sense of justice, they are unacceptable in every society. Islam doesn't tell you anything as such which goes against the sense of justice. So that's why the Islamic law prevails on and you can make your constitutional laws underneath that. And so far in Ireland, nothing goes against that. No one comes to my place and tells me, go outside and do, crime, and then you'll become a, good constitutionally person. Yeah, well, it's not the case. So the laws which are over here, they are almost in the same line.
Okay, but if those laws start to contradict your beliefs and your religion, you'll leave the country.
Yeah, I'll leave the country.
Okay, on that note, Tom, I have to wrap it up because I'm on way over time. Tom, and I appreciate you coming on the air. Thank you very much indeed, Ali and Hassan and Ibrahim and everybody else that was involved in that. Now.